He was a millionaire used to getting what he wanted, but nothing had prepared him for what he was about to witness. Today he wasn't just a wealthy man planning his wedding, he became a son with doubts gnawing at his heart. His fiancée, elegant and charming in public, seemed perfect on paper, but something about the way she treated his mother didn't sit right with him. So, he made a choice that would change everything. He hid, silently watching, desperate to see the real her. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes every small sound echo. His mother, sweet and gentle, went about her day unaware that her son was observing. His fiancée moved around with a practiced grace, smiling, chatting. Yet there was an undercurrent of tension that didn't match the warmth of the words. And then, just when he thought he had seen enough, something unexpected happened. The cleaner, a quiet woman who usually went unnoticed, stepped in. Nobody paid her much attention, but today, she did something that no one could have predicted. It wasn't just surprising, it was impossible. In a matter of minutes, she shifted the energy in the room, revealing truths that even the millionaire had not imagined. As he crouched behind the curtains, heart racing, he realized this simple act could change everything. His trust, his relationship, and maybe even the wedding he had been so sure of. But what exactly did the cleaner do? That he and you would have to see. He had known his fiancée for over a year, and during that time, she had always been the perfect partner, attentive, stylish, and endlessly polite. But appearances, he was learning, could be deceiving. His mother had always been cautious about the relationship, dropping small hints of concern, but he had brushed them off. Today, watching from the shadows, he wondered if he had been blind to the warning signs. The cleaner, meanwhile, moved with quiet confidence. She had been with the family for years, someone who saw everything yet spoke little. And yet, in that moment, her actions carried weight. She didn't just tidy up or follow routine, she seemed to read the tension in the room, reacting with subtle gestures that made the fiancé pause, even if just for a second. There was a message in the way she looked at his mother, the way she set down a simple cup of tea, that made the millionaire's heart beat faster. Something was unfolding that went beyond etiquette or chores. He remembered the little things from earlier. The smiles that didn't reach her eyes, the quick glances, the half-spoken words. Every gesture now seemed amplified, every pause, a clue. His mind raced, trying to connect dots he hadn't even known existed, and then he noticed it, a moment so small that anyone else would have missed it. Yet it felt monumental. The fiancé's reaction wasn't what he expected. His pulse quickened as he realized this was more than just a test of character, it was a turning point. But before he could process it, the cleaner did something else. Something that left him frozen in disbelief. Unsure if what he had just seen was real or imagined, the millionaire's mind was racing, torn between disbelief and concern. The fiancé's smile remained flawless, yet every subtle movement betrayed a tension he couldn't ignore. He had always prided himself on reading people, but now he felt like an outsider in his own home. His mother, blissfully unaware of the scrutiny, laughed softly at something trivial, yet the fiancé's reaction was almost mechanical, polite but distant, as if she were performing a role. The cleaner, meanwhile, seemed to move with purpose, not urgency, but with an awareness that went far beyond her duties. She paused near his mother, offering a small gesture of comfort that went unnoticed by most, but caught the millionaire's attention immediately. He wondered, how much did she really see? How much had she understood about the tension simmering beneath polite smiles and whispered words? It became clear that her presence wasn't just about cleaning, it was about revealing truths that others were blind to. He tried to piece together the layers of the relationship. There was the fiancé, confident yet guarded, his mother, kind yet vulnerable, and the cleaner, observant yet mysterious. Each one carried their own intentions, unspoken feelings, and hidden perspectives. He began to notice patterns, tiny exchanges, the slight hesitations, the unspoken questions, and realized that this situation was far more complicated than he had imagined. As he crouched behind the curtains, he felt a mixture of fear and anticipation. Every second seemed to stretch endlessly. One wrong move, one misread gesture, and he might never know the truth. Yet the cleaner, quietly performing what seemed like an impossible act of honesty, had already shifted everything in ways he wasn't ready to confront. He had a choice: stay hidden and risk missing the full picture, or step forward and face the storm. He could feel his heart pounding so loudly that it almost gave him away. Every small sound, the clink of a teacup, the soft shuffle of feet, even the faint hum of the air conditioner seemed magnified in the silence. The fiancé moved closer to his mother, leaning in with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, and for a moment, the millionaire thought he saw a flicker of something darker, something calculating. He held his breath, afraid that even a blink would make him miss the next moment. The cleaner was still there, quiet but impossible to ignore. She didn't speak loudly, didn't confront anyone openly, but her every movement seemed deliberate, almost like a silent conversation only he could understand. The way she positioned herself, the slight nod, the careful placement of objects, all of it, felt like a message, a subtle revelation of things he had never noticed before. And then, without warning, she did something so simple, so unexpected, that it sent a shock through the millionaire's chest. It was a gesture that seemed innocent on the surface, but beneath it, the truth was humming, waiting to be uncovered. His mind raced through all the possibilities. Could he have misjudged her? Was his instinct warning him of danger? Or was it something else entirely? He felt torn between stepping out and confronting what he had seen, and staying hidden, risking the unknown. Every glance, every word, every pause carried weight now. And he knew that what happened next could change everything. The wedding, his trust, even his relationship with his mother. Time seemed to stretch. The air was thick with unspoken tension, and the millionaire realized that he was on the edge of a revelation that could shatter the carefully constructed world he thought he knew. Every heartbeat felt louder, every second longer, as the cleaner prepared to do something that no one would see coming. Just as he thought he had a grasp on the situation, something entirely unexpected happened. The fiancé, who had seemed so controlled and polished, suddenly a slip of the hand, a quick intake of breath, teeny, almost imperceptible, but enough to catch his attention. And then the cleaner did something even more astonishing. She leaned slightly closer to his mother, whispering words he couldn't hear, but the fiancé's reaction told him everything. Her composed facade cracked for a split second, revealing a flicker of panic, a shadow of guilt that hadn't been there before. The millionaire's pulse raced. He realized the tension was more than just about manners or appearances. There was a hidden layer to this relationship, a secret that even he hadn't suspected. The cleaner, once invisible, was now the catalyst for a revelation that threatened to turn everything upside down. She moved with the precision of someone who understood the truth, yet remained untouchable, almost untouchably clever. Then the fiancé glanced toward the window, as if sensing someone or something was watching. Her eyes met a reflection, and for a heartbeat the millionaire swore she looked directly at him, even though he was perfectly hidden. His stomach dropped. How much did she know? How close had she been to discovering his presence? The stakes had just skyrocketed. In that moment, the house felt smaller, the walls closing in. Every smile, every gesture, every whisper was now a potential clue or a trap. The millionaire realized that he wasn't just witnessing a simple test of character anymore. He had stepped into a web of secrets. The millionaire couldn't take it anymore. He stepped out from his hiding place, heart hammering, and finally confronted the scene that had haunted him for hours. The fiancée froze, her carefully crafted composure gone, replaced by a flicker of fear. His mother looked up, startled, her soft smile fading into confusion as she realized her son was standing there. The air crackled with tension, thick enough to cut with a knife. Before anyone could speak, the cleaner, calm and poised, stepped forward. She didn't flinch, didn't apologize. She simply looked at the millionaire with a quiet confidence that stunned him. Then, in a single, deliberate gesture, she revealed something he hadn't expected, a hidden envelope, carefully tucked away containing messages and notes she had observed over months. They exposed not only the fiancé's true intentions, her subtle manipulation, and hidden resentment, but also small, overlooked acts of kindness the cleaner had seen between his mother and the fiancé that suggested the situation was far more complex than he had imagined. The millionaire's mind raced as he read, realizing the fiancé's charm had masked fear and insecurity, while the cleaner's interventions had been subtle attempts to protect his mother without creating confrontation. The tension snapped as truths came to light, and he finally understood the full scope of what had been happening under his own roof. Yet just as relief began to wash over him, the cleaner handed him a small, folded note addressed to H.